Well, I certainly won't be marrying that asshole Robert, so check that off the list. The best he can hope for is his freedom. Same with the father. We hold the upper hand in the negotiations, right? And marrying the Emperor? I don't think so. All this political bullshit, how do they even live with themselves? They will do anything, stoop to the lowest of the low, at every opportunity for power. That's what really pisses me off. The power doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the citizens, the people of Tamriel. If only I could be a true voice for the people. Do you think that I have what it takes, Dragonborn, to become Empress? But what about you? What will you do, no matter what happens next? I love you, Dragonborn. I belong to you and you alone, and I'll never stop loving you. Do you believe in the prophecy thing? What will become of us?
What are you doing? Why are you standing there? Kill them! Blackwell, order your men to kill these traitors!
Hold your swords.
I am your Emperor! I demand you kill them. You must obey me. You will cut them down this instant. You pick up your sword and cut them down. Cut them down, I say. Then I am undone. It wasn't me. I am innocent. It was her, Morag. She murdered the children, not me. You can keep the crown. Here, take it. Take it. Please. Quarter. Mercy.
Emperor is dead. Long live the Emperor. Majesty, whomsoever takes off the head that wears the crown reigns supreme. You are Lord Protector of Cyrodiil and the Empire. Take your rightful place upon the throne of Dragonborn kings. My lady, after you. Majesty, whomsoever takes off the head that wears the crown reigns supreme. You are Lord Protector of Cyrodiil and the Empire. Take your rightful place upon the throne of Dragonborn kings. My lady, after you. Your Majesty, as Lord Chancellor, it is my duty to protect and serve, and pursue your interests with absolute unwavering ruthlessness. If you would kindly permit me to, and I am sure you'll agree, tie up a few loose ends. We have to nip it in the bud, so to speak. All of them. My lady, you look quite peakish. Are you unwell?
I am with child.
Dragon one, of course I'm sure.
What? The baby? Or you becoming emperor? What are you going to do? Well, I don't want to have the baby here. I want to go home. You're the last Dragonborn, the rightful heir to the throne. Blackwell said it himself. I need you now more than ever. Please, don't leave me here alone. Please take me home, Dragonborn. Let's have Blackwell look after things here. If he needs us, he can send for us. Here he is. Ask him. Ask him about what happens next.
Well, there will be a small interim phase, so correspondence can be sent to those that need to be informed, such as dignitaries and the royal houses of Tamriel. They shall be invited to the coronation, which, in this case, I suggest be arranged at the same time, as Rigmor is now the High Queen of Cyrodiil. But first, we need to protect the integrity of our queen and the child. So, first I suggest Rigmor takes up the name of the House of Mead.
Rigmor Mead? Yeah, right.
It might only be a temporary change, but also a necessary one. Majesty, depending on how we go forward from here, I have another suggestion. I suggest you arrange a marriage at the soonest opportunity. You, as the last Dragonborn, are the rightful heir to the throne. As soon as I heard of your accomplishments, I knew it was fact. That not only were you gifted the Thu'um, but also with the ability to absorb the souls of dragons. That you were anointed by Akatosh himself as the rightful heir, before even taking the crown. If you find that arrangement to be impossible for whatever reason, there are alternative ways to proceed. A partnership or friendship ceremony for the child's sake. It would not be binding, and you could both live separate lives, where there is an understanding between you and shared responsibilities, especially if you decide to cede. Or you could cede the crown. Rigmor becomes Empress, and you go back to what you were doing before. Understood. My lady?
The Dragonborn and I shall return to Bruma for the time being, and leave you in charge as caretaker. Maybe Titus Mead II will return someday. We will, of course, comply with anything you ask of us.
Of course, my lady. As the former Countess of Bruma, administration will pass to Sigun. Bruma will, by default, become a royal city and imperial place of residence. There is a small matter that needs to be attended to, but that can wait for the time being. I'm sure both of you need time to adjust to the new situation you find yourselves in. The traders Aiewen, Cheydinhal, and Coral have all been dealt with, permanently, and the houses of Coral and Cheydinhal, for the time being, have passed on to their next of kin.
Aiewen?
Aiewen is in need of a new count. I suggest Cassius Varon. It is imperative we have someone we can trust, implicitly. His naval expertise would suit the county and protect the Niben Bay, especially as the disbanded bandit army has gone to ground in the border regions of Blackmarsh, elsewhere in Valenwood. Of course, Quintus was another option to consider, but with growing tensions in Hammerfell, it would be prudent to have him remain there for the time being. I shall get onto it at once. I shall arrange the necessary correspondence announcing the change of dynasty and forthcoming coronation to be sent to whom it may concern, so expect immediate interest and requests for parley, especially from the Elder Council in exile and the Aldmeri Dominion, who, I suspect, will want to discuss the restoration of the White Gold Concordant.
Yeah, right.
Lady Rigmor, take this opportunity to relax as best you can. Of course, return home to Bruma. But soon, whether you like it or not, you will need to adapt and come to terms with your new situation. Once the news has reached to the far corners of Nirn, and you address the foreign dignitaries and your subjects, you must respect their expectations and act accordingly, befitting a queen.
Hey, I'm not the Emperor, and I put up with this kind of stuff from Malsam long enough, so drop it, Blackwell.
But you are still the queen. Rightfully so, as the Dragonborn is the rightful heir to the Imperial throne by right of combat. I realize this situation is not perfect, or even expected. I am sure it comes as a surprise to all of us, but here we are. It's not the first time in the history of monarchies that things have turned out exceptional. But we must all agree that the recent events that have brought us here are indeed exceptional.
I'm sorry. I'm just worried, I guess. I don't know.
Rigmor, I have been on the receiving end of your diplomatic parley. You have proven, beyond doubt, your ability to lead, to strategize, to stand up, shoulders back, head held high in the face of overwhelming odds. And with the Dragonborn by your side? If it's peace you want, if it's a home to go where you can raise a child in safety, you have a place alongside the Dragonborn to make this real, to make it a success, because no one is going to make that success for you. So please, do take the time to return to Bruma, appoint a lady-in-waiting, and send her here to the palace as to arrange the royal suite. I take it you have dealt with Sir Robert? Then I leave his fate up to you. If you will permit me, I have matters to attend to. I shall send word if something important comes up and your presence is required. My lord. My lady.
Dragonborn. How do you feel about all this? You? Unsure? I understand. I really do. We share a destiny. I know that. We have both suffered from amnesia. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't been there for me. Been there for all of us. I know I'm not perfect, but you've always been there to carry me when I fall, to put me back together when I'm broken. I would do the same for you in a heartbeat. I'll always have your back, and I want you to know you are kind and stronger than you know. You're my Dragonborn, and I'll protect you always. I love you too. Can you take me home now? You know what I mean. Okay.
Yes?
Yes? Need some? Take a look. Yeah, I'm waiting.
Need something?
What do you need? Take a look. All right, then.
What are we going to tell my mom? I mean, we can't just go back there and say, "Hey, Mom, guess what? I'm pregnant with the Dragonborn's baby." I'm just worried, I guess. But we don't have much time before I start showing. What then? Dragonborn, are you proposing to me? Okay, let's go then.
Rigmor!
Mom!
Ingol informed us of Leowin's defeat. There seems to be some confusion regarding the outcome of the war.
We went to parley at the Emperor's request. The Emperor, attacked Dragonborn.
By the gods, what happened?
I think it's plainly obvious. I take it things didn't end well for him?
Dragonborn is now the Emperor of Cyrodiil and the Empire.
My word.
Your most imperial, royal majesty.
There will be a coronation after the interim phase, so Blackwell can make the necessary arrangements for the coronation. Come on, let's all sit down.
Forgive me, your majesty, as this has come as a bit of a shock.
You got that right.
Indeed. But what about you, my lady?
I am the new High Queen of Cyrodiil. Seems there was something in that prophecy after all, Friathoff. Bruma is to become a royal city, so nothing would need change here, apart from my name.
Change your name, child? What do you mean?
Blackwell wants me to change my name to Rigmor Mead before the coronation.
Might I make one small suggestion? As you know, Carice and myself have always worked tirelessly to protect and serve the descendants of Morgan of Winterhold.
Your point?
Morgan, as you know, was the first child of Titus Mead the First. You could respect her memory of that by assuming the name of Rigmor Morgan Mead. It has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Don't you think?
Thanks, Malsem. You know, I really like that.
But what I don't understand is, how is all of this going to work out? If Rigmor is the High Queen of Cyrodiil, then your majesty must not only be the Emperor, but also the High King.
What of the prophecy, my child? Are you...
Mom, we need to talk.
Rigmor? What is it? Is there something wrong?
In private.
What happened, your majesty? And what about Morag? And my mistress? My word.
The Dragonborn and Boethia versus Molag Bal and his minions. Who would ever conceive of such an epic event? What then, Majesty? I take it you went straight after Aiewen?
But you mentioned the Falmor. I know of him. Of course, I haven't been back to the Isles for many years, but the family is well known. Lilandril, I think. Yes, that's where his family hail from. Very well respected.
What about the Red Diamond? Did you pick it up? Jonte was telling us about... Oh.
Ah, yes. Apparently the destruction of the Bridge of Sighs would ultimately cause it to collapse in upon itself. Didn't Sefri tell you that would occur if the Soul Gem reached its zenith? If the Soul Gem were allowed to reach its zenith, destroying itself, it would indeed have caused a rift. But also, it would have left behind a black diamond. If it had, an amulet of kings made of it would have been able to reverse the sacrifice of Martin's septim, not only allowing Daedra to pass into the mortal world along with Cold Harbor, but also to banish the gods. Thankfully you destroyed it in time, but instead of leaving a black diamond, it would have left a red diamond in its place. An amulet of kings made with a red diamond? We're not entirely sure.
Only the Chosen One could wear it. Whether the diamond was black or red makes no difference. But we can assume it could be used to relight the dragon fires, and it could result in many outcomes. Banish both the Divines and Daedra for meddling in the affairs of mortals completely. Possibly it could equalize the influence of them, but at a reduced amount, strengthening the sacrifice of Martin's septim. It would, of course, be useless without the fulfillment of the prophecy, and we talked about that before, Majesty. By the gods! Majesty!
Well, that's all rather inconvenient. What happens next? Ah. Of course, that would put everything in order and make things right.
No one need know Lady Rigmor is pregnant before the wedding. We keep this to ourselves. Majesty, does Lady Rigmor know what fate awaits her?
Dragonborn, I'm going to the cathedral to gather my thoughts for a little while. Maybe, I don't know, find some solace. When you're done here, would you come get me? Okay.
Poor girl. So, Master Friafoth, what fate awaits her? Please do share.
Majesty?
Well, no wonder the poor girl needs to find solace.
What? How? Of course. Forgive me. It must be a trying time for both of you.
Majesty, let us hope the gods keep their word, for all our sakes. And in the meantime, I'll send that ruffian, that scoundrel, that rapscallion Jimmy Tenfingers to search Nagasel for the diamond. It should still be there, unless... Unless, of course, someone else knew in advance what would occur. But for the present, perhaps it would be best to speak to Sigrun to alleviate any concerns about the future she might have. Majesty,